on in.
Are you good?
Uh-huh.
All right, perfect. Yeah, good.
For some odd reason, they always put Phoebe.
Huh?
They always put Phoebe instead of Miss Phoebe.
Which,
I don't know why.
do you want to change it?
I just
All right, I believe we are all here. So I'd like to call to order this regular board meeting for the school district, the Allentown School District on November 19th, 2020. Please call the roll.
Miss Brace,
Here.
Miss Conover,
Present.
Miss Harris, Miss Harris,
here, it wouldn't let me unmute.
there you go. Miss Johnson Watts,
Here.
Miss Matheson,
Here.
Mr. Miller,
Here.
Mr. Thiel,
Here.
Miss Vega, Miss Wilt.
Here.
8 board members present.
Thank you. And if you can also note that there was an executive session held prior to this board meeting to discuss confidential matters related to the district. If everyone can please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for a moment of silence. Thank you. For my president remarks, I'm actually going to turn it over to Ms. Harris. Ms. Harris, if you would like to speak.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Allentown School District Board of Directors, it is my pleasure to nominate Mr. Thomas Parker for 2020 Excellence in Business Award from the Greater Lehigh Valley Chamber of Commerce. Earlier today, Mr. Parker was announced as a recipient of that award. My colleagues and I had an opportunity to attend the virtual annual chamber meeting where the public announcement was made. Mr. Parker, in addition to celebrating this moment, I want to commend you for your leadership that you have demonstrated not only during the current global pandemic, but throughout your time you've been here with us in Allentown. You have truly supported our students and our families, acquiring additional devices and hotspots for our students to move us to a 1-to-1 district and reduce the digital divide, strengthening the partnerships with the Century Fund and Allentown Foundation in support of a middle school transformation, including early college, something we do not, early college. So our 8th graders actually have an early college class. No one else in Pennsylvania has that. We have that. That's something that you did, Mr. Parker, and I thank you for that. And taking a bold step to conduct a comprehensive curriculum audit and addressing our problems, taking the Band-Aid off of it, seeing it, saying, okay, we need a curriculum, and you did that with our education study that you did, and I thank you with the strategic framework that you have also proposed that has moved us forward even more so. But what I really want to thank you for, my father, the late Bishop Hugh L. Harris Sr., he never let us get away with I don't know or I didn't know. Myself and my 12 siblings. If he asked us questions and we said, I don't know, or I didn't know, he would say, you know, you can make a whole new world of the things that you don't know. Mr. Parker, you made my father's words come true. COVID hit us and we didn't know. We didn't know how we were going to get devices to our children. We didn't know how we were going to do virtual. We didn't know nothing. And you made a whole new world out of I don't know. We are not just lagging behind. We are the first. We are doing more than other school districts. Because of you didn't know, but you making my father's words come true. I never thought in my days that would come true. But you have made those I don't know into a whole new world. Not just you, your team. Dr. Brown, Miss Jen Ramos, y'all took those two components that y'all have and made whole new worlds too. You took your teams and y'all have stepped up. Board, look, we look good because that man made us look good. Because we stood with him even when he said he didn't want to drive the tractor no more. We told him, I don't care, you're not going nowhere. You driving that tractor, even if it's going to be a plaid stripe, up and down. We don't care. From one country girl to one country boy. Go ahead, keep driving that tractor. Board, thank you. So we recommended you for this award because we stand with you, Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas Parker, super, we thank you because you made a whole new world out of this and we are striving. Yes, we got problems, but we are striving in this world. So thank you very much. And you have given our children, our students, our parents, our community, our business leaders, our business world, Allentown, hope. Because before you can have American dream, you got to have American hope. And you gave us that, and you're giving us that hope. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison. Congratulations, Mr. Parker, on the award. Do you have any remarks, Mr. Parker?
I think Ms. Phoebe said it all. So first and foremost, just thank you on behalf of myself, on behalf of the children of the city of Allentown, knowing that this board as a collective body is supportive and committed to excellence is exactly what makes me proud to continue to be here, to continue to serve. On behalf of the team in place that's doing some dynamic things in the Allentown School District, anytime there's an award or an accolade that comes my way, it really is a reflection of those who prop this work up internally. And Ms. Phoebe said it as well as anyone, Dr. Brown, Ms. Ramos, the rest of the team. None of this happens. None of the work that this district has done to pivot and meet the needs of our students during this pandemic could happen if not for that leadership team that you see coming up here every 2 weeks, talking about the great things that we're doing. If not for them, we're not here. So I give all the credit and all the kudos to my administrative team for really making this work. Even when it's a text message at 5 in the morning and an email at 2 in the morning, they rise to the occasion each and every time. So I am not me without them. Thank you all for everything that you do. To the board, I'm sitting here looking at the strategic framework as we stand right now. Everything that we're doing during this pandemic, everything that we've pivoted to work to do to address the needs of kids, you can find it in your collective vision that in 2017 was crafted at the direction and the will of the Allentown School Board. So everything that we're doing is fulfilling the destiny and meeting the expectations that you set as a governance body. So kudos to you. Keep going, keep setting the vision, and this team will keep plugging away to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. At this time, if anybody would like to address the board on agenda items, you can raise your hand and we will slowly let you in. The first person's hand is up, and that's Milton Figueroa, if he can be let in and unmuted.
Hi, my name
Hi,
is
Milton.
Milton. I don't know how to share my screen.
You don't have to share your screen. If you can just state your name and address for the record, and then you have 3 minutes. Oh. You're remuted if you want to unmute yourself.
I would like to thank the HUD program for the Good Neighbor Next Door program. Prior to that, I was homeless. I did find a place and comfort in the Allentown School District. I would like to thank the teachers that take their extra time and dedication to help these teachers, the students, and teachers like me that need extra support and help. I have been trying to contact my administration since before the school district year started. And I said that I was having difficulty. If you have any doubts, you can read my reviews and saying that I don't learn this way. I've tried going in person and saying that I was having anxiety attacks. I've submitted a note talking to Human Resources. I was told that I was going to be talking to the Director of Special Education, never been contacted. I am currently waiting for an EEOC meeting for the Division of Employment Rights and Disabilities. I did request a meeting nonstop. Now, I would like to talk about my disabilities. I do have ADHD and PTSD. So with that being said, it is driven from a passion to make sure that my students do not fail like I did throughout life. They have very similar disabilities and I have the same, very similar disabilities to what they have. And I do believe that at a time when COVID was lower, I did try to offer my services to stand outside and help transition students on how to learn. I understand that Allentown School District was being very proactive in stopping the spread of COVID. Now, with that being said, I do understand that we have edgenuity, but I was taught in college at East Stroudsburg University, thank you very much for that opportunity, that we should be able to learn how to create lessons that are based off of the state standard. If I am not correct, please correct me on that. And with the state standards, we can create goals and objectives and teach children. Now, during a pandemic, I am very concerned for my students' well-being, their mental health, their social emotional health. I do work with learning support students that need that extra support, and they are not on grade level. Edgenuity is not on grade level, and I do not believe that they should be required to watch the entire video for credit. I have suggested multiple accommodations and things to help these students learn. I am getting anxiety attacks from parents and people in the community from where I live at asking for help. They need help. And when I promised them that I would help them, guess what? I am a man of my word and I will help them. I don't know where my emails and my letters are going to, but conversations have not been had with me. And I would like the federal government, please reach me.
Thank you. All right, I see Lisa Greitzer's hand is up.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Greitzer and I live at 1116 North 21st Street. I'm an ESOL educator in the Allentown School District. Thanksgiving is an expression of gratitude and blessings. This year it's hard for so many people to feel those blessings due to social distancing measures, fear of COVID, economic distress, and social injustices. But tonight, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude for my colleagues, my students, and our families, and wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Roy Bennett said, "Start each day with a grateful heart." This year started out rough for all of us, but I'm thankful to our administrators and our directors for your support of employees and families. Your decisions were not easy to make, but you looked at the significant circumstance through multiple perspectives, so thank you for your leadership. Melody Beattie said, "Gratitude turns what we have into enough." When I hear these words, I think of our grateful students and families. Many of them are struggling with challenging online platforms, multiple Zoom links, a rigorous work schedule, and life's daily challenges. An untold number of English learners are experiencing academic adversity in the new normal while trying to learn English and keep up with their content area work. Nonetheless, these same children hop into the virtual campus, try their best to participate, and make gains. It should also be noted that my colleagues and I see our students and families during porch visits, and when we're there, many families express their gratitude for everything the district is trying to do to support. I am most grateful for our students and their families for entrusting us with their child's education. Fred Rogers once said, "Anyone who does anything to help a child is a hero." When hearing this, I'm sure we all think of our dedicated ESOL teachers, content area teachers, and support staff. They have major responsibilities while also learning new technology, how to use new online resources, and simultaneously make appropriate language accommodations so students can feel some success. And let's not forget all of the staff members that have voluntarily arranged coat drives, food distributions, and other events to address our students' most basic needs. Thank you, teachers. One last quote before I conclude. Be thankful for the struggles you go through. They make us wise and humble. Don't let them break us. Let them make us. As we continue to navigate this unique time, I hope all of ASD can remain healthy and resilient. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. I see Alan next on the list. If someone can let Alan Jennings in.
Okay, am I good?
Yes, if you can just state your name and address for the record, and then you have 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm Alan Jennings. I live at 2128 Pennsylvania Street in the city. I'm also the executive director of the Community Action Committee of the Lehigh Valley. We have a major initiative that we're working on. It's called a Neighborhood Partnership Program. It involves $650,000 a year in corporate tax credit supported contributions that are going to be focused on making sure the kids in the neighborhood between 7th and 12th, between Linden and Gordon, have all the access to extracurricular programming possible. We can't allow our kids to become wasted labor supply. And we're going to have a whole series of initiatives that include Head Start, entrepreneurial training, job development, tutoring, assistance with getting into college. And the centerpiece of this project is a proposed youth center that we want to develop in that neighborhood. We were looking at a property on 12th Street for a while. That didn't work out. And then we realized that you guys have a school that you've decommissioned in favor of the new school on 12th Street. We would like to look at having that school take down the building and put a new building up. We expect it to be a $4 to $5 million capital fundraising project, and it will all be done in support of the kids in Allentown School District in those neighborhoods. If the kids aren't in that neighborhood, it doesn't mean that they can't come into the neighborhood for those activities, but the activities will be based in that neighborhood. We expect within the next few days or maybe a week or two to be informed of whether or not we've been approved for this project. And we very much appreciate the opportunity to help you help the kids in the neighborhood through getting that Grover, the Cleveland School, to be developed into a youth center for the Allentown School District's kids. So thanks, and I hope that we'll be able to make this happen.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Can somebody, for some reason, our solicitor is over in the attendee list rather than in the panelist. Can somebody let John and Jody both over into the meeting so that they're able to speak?
We'll get that taken care of.
Okay. And then I see, I don't see any public hands up anymore, but in ours, Petya Scott, your hand is raised. Did you have a comment?
I do have like something to say on the matter. Like, okay, I'm Petya Scott and I live at 1402 West 2 Street. And I just like to say that this year has been like really hard for all the students, not just me and personal friends, but also other students in other areas. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to tell you that I honestly think, like, yes, we are all grateful for like how you guys have handled it so far, but we have still suffered because of it. Like, I myself personally have struggled to like keep up with the work because everything was so crazy, especially in the beginning of the school year. I really didn't have a complete schedule to the third week. And that messed me up because I was supposed to be in college courses, but because I got left behind, I had to go to regular classes and start from the beginning, whereas everybody was already halfway through the first unit. And I'm not the only one this has happened to. So although I appreciate your strides to like make the best of the situation, I feel that we could be doing more. And I just think we really need to do something more. Because I don't want students to suffer like me, because I've had a past with anxiety, and like to go through episodes just because of school shouldn't be happening. So I just wanted to use this chance to tell you that. And that if there's anything you could do to maybe, I'm not saying like give the students more time, like I think you guys have given us a reasonable amount of time, and I've seen teachers countless of times, you know, given dozens of students like, you know, extra time to complete an assignment. But something's not working and I think we need to fix it.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, may I have a motion for the approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Mr. Miller, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Conover, any discussion on the motion? Seeing and hearing none, please call the roll.
Ms. Conover,
Yes.
Ms. Brace,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Matheson,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson Watts,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Thiel,
Yes.
Ms. Wilt,
Yes.
8-0 passes.
And next is the Board of Directors report. May I have a motion for the approval of the Board of Directors report?
I'll make that motion, Nancy.
Ms. Wilt, is there a second?
Second.
Miller, any discussion on the motion?
Yes, I have a discussion.
Yes.
Is it possible we can vote on B by itself?
Sure. This will be for A only.
For B.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do A and C first and we'll do B second.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion on A and C? Lost my. Okay, seeing and hearing none, please call the roll for A and C.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson Watts,
Yes.
Ms. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Thiel,
Yes.
Mrs. Wilt,
Yes.
Mrs. Brace,
Yes,
Mrs. Conover,
Yes.
8-0.
okay. May I have a motion for the approval of Exhibit B?
I'll make the motion.
Oh, is there a second? I'll second the motion. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I don't think that we need it. I don't. I know what he did before. I think we as a board are coming into our own. I think we can do things on our own. I don't think we need someone to help us get to where we need to get. I think we've been doing a great job of it. This pandemic has brought out we have seen the worst and has brought out the best in us. So I don't see where we need to bring someone in to tell us what to do, how to lead, because we believe.
Okay, any other discussion on the motion?
Yes, Mrs. Brace.
Yes, Mr. Thiel?
I agree with Phoebe that we have been doing a great job as a board together. But I also believe that having a third party at times is very beneficial to any relationship. And, there's 9 of us and we all have, different thoughts, opinions. Obviously, we're all striving together in unity for the kids in the community. And having somebody work with us and provide and facilitate meetings and training that help us be more effective as a governing body for the community is something that I think is very useful for us as a board.
Thank you, Mr. Thiel. Any other discussion on the motion? Seeing and hearing none, call the roll.
Ms. Matheson,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson Watts,
Yes.
Mrs. Harris,
No.
Ms. Conover,
No.
Mrs. Brace,
Yes,
Mrs. Wilt,
Thought long and hard about this, but I'm going to say yes.
Mr. Thiel,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
6-2 passes.
okay, thank you. Next up is the information updates. Ms. Vega is not here this evening and she didn't provide a report for the Allentown Human Relations Commission. Ms. Harris, is there one for the Allentown Public Library?
No, there is no report at this time.
Okay, how about the Allentown Recreation Commission, either Ms. Harris or Ms. Wilt?
Yes, I was not present at the meeting, but I did ask for a report. And so I was provided by Karen Elchar, the director. She wanted me to make sure that I let everyone know that the Recreation Commission is working on a Recreation at Home series, which will provide various videos and activities on a variety of topics such as physical fitness, mental fitness, healthy living, sport-specific skills and drills, literacy and DIY recreation activities, as well as collaborating with Parks and Recreation to enhance healthy living components, and many other videos and activities throughout the remainder of 2020 with new topics to try and keep our kids and community members engaged. And they also asked me to let everyone know that construction for the Jordan Park skate park will be happening soon, and that the Irving pool design is being finalized with hopefully new construction of our pool on the east side beginning hopefully sometime in May or June of 2021. So look up on the website if you want to learn more about these stay-at-home activities.
And I just wanted to add that the City of Allentown Park and Recreation, ASD, and Promise Neighborhood and the Ortiz Art Foundation did have a trunk or treat celebration for our children at Valinia Park, October 30th. And it was great. It was greatly appreciated. And the kids just got to go out in their costumes with, safe distances. Everybody was safe and just were able to be children. And it was a great collaboration with, everyone in Allentown.
Thank you, Ms. Wilt and Ms. Harris. Next is the Allentown School District Foundation, Ms. Wilt or Mr. Thiel.
Other than thanking them for collaborating with us to write the grant that allows us to move forward with HVAC updates, etc., I have nothing else to report. I don't know about Mr. Thiel.
I just want to thank the foundation for the work that they're doing with a lot of support with the community for whether it be face masks or other type of things to ensure that we're able to move things forward. So I do want to thank them, but there's really not much to report at this time since we didn't have a meeting this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilt and Mr. Thiel. Next is Carbon Lehigh Intermediate Unit. Ms. Conover, is there a report?
There's nothing to report tonight.
Thank you. Next up is LCTI. Ms. Conover, Ms. Matheson, or Ms. Johnson-Watts.
Our meeting schedules are slightly changed over this time of year, as you know. So there was a meeting on the last Wednesday of October where the discussion of how to address the COVID incidents as well as moving forward have been discussed, reviewed. The LCTI is working proactively in every instance, and there is a link on the website where you can look for updates. In addition to that, the open house season began all virtually, and it's a wonderful page that you can take a look at all the various interviews with various department leadership about the different course offerings. In addition to that, there will be a special committee of the whole meeting on Monday, the 23rd. If you go to the LCTI website, you can see more details on that. And the Joint Operating Committee full board meeting will take place on December 9th, and that will take care of the November meeting as well as the December meeting.
Thank you. Is there any, Ms. Conover or Ms. Matheson, anything else to add?
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add. All right, thank you very much. And the Safety Task Force, Ms. Conover or Ms. Harris?
I'm going to turn that over to Mr. Falco, please.
Well, I did go to the meeting, so I think I can report that there's really nothing. We are still engaged. We're very much engaged, but there is really nothing to report tonight because we're still working on the same things that we were working on before. Unless Mr. Falco wants to add, there's really nothing for me to report.
Okay. All right, we'll move along to policy then. Do I have a motion to accept the policy report?
I make the motion.
Ms. Harris, is there a second? Mr. Miller, any discussion on the motion? Seeing and hearing none, please call the roll.
Ms. Johnson-Watts.
Yes.
Ms. Matheson.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Thiel.
Yes.
Mrs. Wilt.
Yes.
Mrs. Brace.
Yes.
Ms. Conover,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
8-0 passes.
Thank you. Next is the Secretary and Treasurer's report. Do I have a motion for the approval of these reports?
So moved.
Ms.
I'll
Matheson and seconded by Ms. Wilt. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing and hearing none, please call the roll.
Mrs. Wilt,
Yes.
Mr. Thiel,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Matheson,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson Watts,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Conover,
Yes.
Mrs. Brace,
Yes.
8-0 passes.
Next is the Superintendent's agenda. Do I have a motion for the approval of the superintendent's or the superintendent's report? Sorry.
So moved.
Mr. Miller, is there a
Second.
second? Ms.
Second.
Conover? Any discussion on the motion?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Johnson Watts?
I just want to take a moment. I know there were 3 names that we missed on last week, but I do want to take a moment to publicly acknowledge Alejandro Garcia for completing his high school diploma at Louis E. Durf High School. Congratulations. We're proud of you. Thank you for taking the time and committing yourself to completing the work. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson Watts. Any other discussion? Seeing and hearing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Thiel,
Yes.
Mrs. Wilt,
Yes.
Mrs. Brace,
Yes.
Mrs. Conover,
Yes.
Mrs. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson Watts,
Yes.
Ms. Matheson,
Yes.
8-0 passes.
Okay, next is the personnel report. May I have a motion for the approval of the personnel report?
So moved.
Ms. Wilt, is there a second?
I second.
Ms. Harris seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Ms. Johnson Watts, is your hand up from before?
Sorry, that's from
Okay.
before.
All right. Seeing and hearing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Thiel,
Yes.
Mrs. Wilt,
Yes.
Mrs. Brace,
Yes.
Mrs. Conover,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson Watts,
Yes.
Ms. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
8-0 passes.
Okay. And next is the finance report. May I have a motion for the approval of the finance report?
So moved.
So moved.
Ms. Wilt, is there a second?
No, that was Ms. Watts.
Oh, Ms. Johnson Watts is making the
I'll
motion.
second.
Is Ms.
I'll
Wilt will second? Okay. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing and hearing none, please call the roll.
Mrs. Wilt,
Yes.
Mrs. Brace,
Yes.
Ms. Conover,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson Watts,
Yes.
Ms. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Thiel,
Yes.
8-0 passes.
And may I have a motion for the approval of the building report?
So moved.
Mr. Miller, is there a second?
Second, Watts.
Okay. Ms. Johnson Watts, any discussion on the motion? Seeing and hearing none, please call the roll.
Mrs. Wilt,
Yes.
Mrs. Brace,
Yes.
Ms. Conover,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson Watts,
Yes.
Ms. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Thiel,
Yes.
8-0 passes.
Thank you. And Mr. Parker, I know you wanted to make a comment after that, and I also neglected, I know we don't usually have the student representatives report this month, but if you wanted to say anything about them, you can now as well.
Thank you. So I wanted to take this opportunity once again, and I know we talked about it at the last board meeting, but I want to circle back and underline again as we make the approval this evening. Lehigh County commissioners, Lehigh County executive, our supports on that government level, we are extremely proud and thankful for them for directing resources to the Allentown School District to support improvements to our facilities that will impact the lives of 20,000 students and staff that are in our buildings each and every day. So I want to make sure that we circle back and thank them yet again. We know that these are CARES funds. So on the federal level, to our supporters, just making sure that everyone knows that we are absolutely thankful because we know these are resources that didn't have to be directed to ASD, and some people made the decision to do that as well. So continuing that advocacy in Washington is important. To our Allentown School District Foundation, this was not a grant that the school district wrote. This was a grant that was written and a commitment of the Allentown School District Foundation. As we continue to improve, as we continue to better meet the needs of all the children that we serve, knowing that the foundation is here with us shoulder to shoulder is going to be critical and important. And we look forward to continuing to collaborate. And we look forward to continuing to identify all the resources in this community and nationally that are available to best meet the needs of the kids that we serve each and every day. So again, just to reiterate from the local level with our commissioners, and I think Commissioner Brace actually made the motion for this to happen, to our Lehigh County executive, who has been a great supporter and continues to be a great supporter. On the federal level, we have Congresswoman Wow, who has been a great supporter in directing CARES resources to this state and to our local district, and to our Allentown School District Foundation, Mr. Dan Bosket, who is the chairperson there now, and Sue Williams as the executive director. Again, I apologize if I missed anybody, but I'm extremely thankful. This is $2 million worth of resources that our children sorely need. And it would absolutely behoove me to, again, underline, circle, and highlight our appreciation for each of you advocating for our children. So that being said, we also have with us this evening our Allentown School District Board representatives. Over the next few months, you'll get a chance to see the representatives of all of the regular board meetings, as well as the Human Relations Commission. I'll call the names out just so that we are aware. For our regular board meeting, our reps from Allen High School, Elijah Albert with the alternate, Kimberly Solis. For our Education and Finance Committee of the whole, Jacob Abdul Wahab and Mason Terrell from Allen, and Human Relations Commission from Allen, Leanne Pascal and Ariana Caraballo. From Deer High School, our regular board meeting reps, Jania Treadwell, with the alternate being Zahi Awad. Our committee of the whole, Destiny Lancheros and Lance Wilson, and Human Relations Commission, Vanessa Farillo and Kaylee Odendahl. Hope I didn't mess your name up. For our Building 21 regular board meeting rep, we have Messiah Crawl and Patea Scott. For our committee of the whole, Claynesia Jones and Dylan Lopez. And Human Relations Committee, Chelsea Figueroa and Rosalise Barrero. So I want to say thank you and welcome to each and every one of you. And we look forward to, over the next year, getting to know you better and have you advocating strongly for what our children need here in the Allentown School District. And so, Ms. Brace, since I have the floor, I do have one more thing to bring forward, and if now is the appropriate time. I can have Mr. Sang is here and has an update and an announcement for each of you. As you know, with our conversation with the board, we made the decision and recommendation to shift the mascot from Robb Middle School. So Mr. Sang is going to come forward this evening with an announcement.
Good evening, everyone. Given the district's strategic goal of creating an environment where students feel nurtured and valued, it was imperative that our schools reflect mascots that are culturally sensitive and inclusive of all races and nationalities represented in our schools and the broader community. I want to give kudos to Principal Delgado for spearheading this effort with his community, as well as, the appreciation to his faculty and staff for helping implement, as well as the community for their votes. They did work from the end of September through last week to garner votes on what the mascot should be from all students. The 4 finalists for the Robb mascot were the Wolves, Lions, Ravens, and Dragons. We engaged in a vote of the students, the staff, the community, and the school board. And from all 4 of those voting results, the results were the same. And the Robb mascot is the Robb Ravens.
That's wonderful news. Thank you.
No problem.
That's who I voted for. I'll be honest. So thank you. I know, Mr. Parker, I was pushing for this for a while to get this changed. So I appreciate administration and the students and staff and community for getting behind this to make sure our schools are welcome to all.
I don't know, I'm a little bit worried. I think ravens eat canaries.
Not at all.
They can't catch them.
Not at all.
Are you serious?
Not at all. Ravens are scavengers. We only leave crumbs around for them. Another bird in the neighborhood. Welcome.
Yeah.
We won't share a nest with them, but welcome.
We got to watch out for the tigers down the hill too.
Guys are bad.
But as a Trexler parent, I think bulldogs trample over all of them.
Oh yeah.
So again, this to me, this is a great day. This is something that, again, to the board strategic framework, where we say we're going to collaborate deeply and meaningfully with our families and our community. This is a really strong symbolic change that undergirds and underlines this board's commitment to collaborate meaningfully and deeply. And I'm excited to be a part of seeing that mission continue to be fulfilled. So, Mr. Sang, thank you. To our new Robb principal, thank you. This is absolutely a great start to your tenure at Robb Middle School.
Thank you. At this time, if anybody would like to address the board on non-agenda items, you can raise your hand and I will call on you to come speak. Mr. Parker, I see your hand.
President, I need to fix one thing. My apologies.
Okay.
Elijah Albert Stein. I messed up somebody's name and I do not want to get into trouble. So I want to fix that name. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. All right, does anybody from the public have any comments would like to make on non-agenda items? I don't see any hands going up for the board. Is there any old business to come before the board? Any new business? Seeing and hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Ms. Harris, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Thiel, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful night and a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thank you.